relative pronouns. There are 5 relative pronouns in English: who, whom, which, whose, and that. Now, I know that you've heard them before in interrogative pronouns, but there is a very huge difference between interrogative and relative pronouns. Let's see. Starting with who is always subject, okay, and whom is always for object. Now, in general, who and whom are only used for humans, meaning people. So who and whom are for people. Let's go to which. Which is for things. Alright, so, and which can also be subject and object, but it is used for things. Alright, whose is just like interrogative pronouns. It is for possession, meaning it shows possessiveness. Alright, belonging, ownership. And that can be used both for things and for people, only in defining relative clauses. And I'm going to be very simple about this and not brief. Okay, I'm not going to go into clauses. We're not ready for that yet, but we're just going to note that that can be used for people and for things. Both are correct. Alright, let's take those 2 examples. The person who called me last night is my teacher. The person that called me last night is my teacher. I didn't do anything. I just replaced who with that, just to show you that that works for humans in this case, and later on we're going to see how it works with things. But for now, we're just going to stick to who. In this case, it is subjective. Why and how? I'm going to show you how it is subject. As you can see, let's just point out the verb. The verb is called. And since the pronoun here comes before the verb, like we've said in previous videos, then it is subjective. And I need to keep in mind that who is definitely subject. So when I want to replace who with that, I need to make sure that that is in the correct position of the sentence. Also, I need to note here that in this case, that is preferable. That is preferable more than who, because that is clearer. Because I'm not going to say it's wrong to use who in the first sentence, because it's definitely correct. There's nothing wrong with it. But it is preferable to use that, because that is famous for introducing a relative clause. And relative pronouns have a certain function, which is to relate a clause to a specific noun in the sentence, to the subject mainly. So if you just didn't get what I just said, it's alright, because we didn't go into clauses yet, but we need just to note that that is preferable in such a case. Alright, now for which. As you can see, number 1, the car which hit me was yellow, and the second sentence says the car that hit me was yellow. So the only thing I did is that I replaced which with that, just to show you that that in this sentence also works for things, because car is a thing. Now, I also will show you how this is object. subject. Again, since which here comes before the verb, so the first thing I do is spot the verb, which is it. And since here the pronoun comes before the verb, then it is subject. And basically, if I just cover up which or cover up that, then I'm going to be left with car over here, and let's say that the car hit me. Let's just not use was yellow. Let's cover was yellow up. If I say the car hit me, then if I want to use which to refer or to relate car, to put here which and was yellow right here, just like the main sentence, then I am just relating that this car was yellow. So it is just exactly the same thing. It is still subjective case. So which here is subject. Same thing applies here. Let's take that out. The car hit me. If I want to add that to relate, if I added that right here, just to relate that the car that hit me was yellow colored, then again I am still being subjective without any changes. So this is how it is subjective in both cases. Alright, now which. The car which I drive is old. The car that I drive is old. So in this case, I just replaced which with that, just to show and to explain that that also refers to things, right? Now, to decide if which in this case here is subject or object, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to rephrase the sentence just to show you. I drive a car which is old. Okay, so I rewrote the sentence. Car here is the thing I want to relate to. Alright, I want to relate that which is old to car. And since car comes after an action verb, it is object. So which here is object. Alright, number 2. The car that I drive is old. I drive a car that is old. I didn't do anything. I just replaced which with that. And again, I want to say that my noun here is car, and I am relating that is old to car. And since the noun I am relating to comes after an action verb, then it is object here as well. I need to note that in this case, that is preferable to which, meaning it is not wrong if I use which, but that is preferable. Okay, so again, the difference here, the thing here, how I figured out it is objective, is that I only rearranged the sentence to make it clear and direct, because I just said that the car which I drive is old, is the same meaning of, has the same meaning of I drive a car which is old. Alright? So again, I said that car comes after drive, an action verb, so it is object. Number 2, I just replaced which with that to show you that that works for things. And I said that I drive a car that is old. Again, I just rearranged the second sentence to show you that it is object. And I put the thing that I want to relate to is after an action verb, so it is object as well. All right, now to take whom, who, and that all together, I use these three sentences just to show you the difference and the usage. The first sentence says, the person whom I called last night is my teacher. The second sentence, the person who I called last night is my teacher. And the last sentence, the person that I called last night is my teacher. Now, I forgot the full stop. Okay. For whom and who and that. Those sentences are all object case. They are all object case. You're gonna ask me how. Well, there you go. This is your answer. Look. The person whom I called last night is my teacher. Let's remember, or let's have a flashback to when I previously, in previous videos, I've taught you that in questions to know if our pronoun is in subject or object case, I answered the question. Well, those sentences are in questions, but I can rewrite them in a way that defines them. Meaning, the person whom I called last night is my teacher. Let's paraphrase or rearrange the sentence to be, my teacher is the person I called last night. Right or wrong? Let's take this sentence. My teacher is the person I called last night. So there is a person I'm talking about. I defined who this person is, and I mentioned that I have already called that person last night. So in this case, it is object because my teacher is the person I called last night, just to show that if I want to add whom, I would add it here. My teacher is the person whom I called last night. It is just like saying that I called my teacher. So, whom did you call? Or wait, that's not clear for you. Let's say that. So I'm just going to erase to show you here. All right, just to show you. I called my teacher last night. Right. So whom did you call? I called my teacher last night. Teacher here is the person. And the person here I'm talking about comes after the action verb, so it is object. Alright, so the sentence I wrote in red was the rearrangement of the sentence here, just to show you the meaning. And then in blue, the sentence in blue here exactly and precisely shows you that there is a person I called, which who is the teacher, and that this teacher here comes after the verb, the action verb, so it is object. Sentence number 2, who. Oh yeah, there is one thing I need to say about whom, is that whom is correct but formal, meaning that the formal usage of this sentence here is whom. So whom is correct and it is formal. Okay, it is formal. So this is the formal usage. All right, let's move to number 2. The person who I called last night is my teacher. So it is just like the same thing. I called the teacher last night. I called the person last night. So it is just like I called my teacher last night using whom. It is exactly the same thing. Now, that the person that I called last night is my teacher. I didn't do anything here. I just replaced who and whom with that, just to show you that that refers to people Okay, and it is also in this case objective here, and that it is correct if I erased it. Meaning it isn't wrong if I said the person I called last night is my teacher. So if I just removed who here, it is still correct. And if I removed whom here, it is also still correct. So it is not wrong to say the person whom I called last night is my teacher. This is objective, this is formal usage. It is not wrong if I say the person who I called last night is my teacher, also who here is objective. And it is not also wrong to say the person that I called last night is my teacher, because that refers to people, in this case whom and who, it is also objective. And it is definitely not wrong to say, and it is definitely correct to just remove who, whom, and that from the sentence, keeping it with the person I called last night is my teacher. It is the following sentence you just heard is correct. Alright, moving on to whose. The first sentence I got here, before, let's just remark that whose, as I explained in interrogative pronouns, is for possession. It shows possessiveness, ownership, belonging to, okay? Remember the apostrophe S. Okay, the first sentence. The student whose phone just rang should stand up. Whose here relates the phone to the student. It is just like saying that the student's phone just rang. So if I want to say whose, then I am bringing together, I am belonging this phone to the student, because the phone is for the student. So I use who to connect phone, to relate it, to connect phone to student. Alright, and it is not wrong if I say the students whose phones just rang should stand up. So it is not wrong if I use whose for plural. Do not think that whose is only for singular. Okay, so get it? So I use here whose just to show that the phones belong to the students, and that those students who have the phones should stand up. Okay, who have the phones that rang should stand up. So this is how I use whose here as a relative pronoun. In interrogative pronouns, no. We just put whose without the noun. Remember when I used whose has arrived? Okay, so this is here, if I want to ask using interrogative pronouns, then I will have to say that whose has, or let's say whose should stand up. The answer will be the students whose phones just rang should stand up. So whose, just like in this case, likely refers to the students whose phones just rang. Alright, so in this case it is interrogative. Alright, but here no, it is relative. So do not confuse between relative and interrogative pronouns. In interrogative pronouns, we did not mention the noun. I just said whose should stand up. For relative, no, I did mention. I said that the students whose phones just rang should stand up. All right, let's move to sentence number 2. The police are looking for the car whose driver was masked. So, whose? This is the relative pronoun. What is it doing here? It is relating the driver that was masked, that was putting on a mask, to the car. It just related the car to this driver. It is saying that this car is related to the driver that was masked. Meaning, the car is for the driver who was masked. Now you see that this car is for the driver that was masked. So who's here instead of all this mixing up? Who's related the car to the driver that was masked? The police are looking for the car that is for the driver that, you know, this is a very long and vague sentence, okay? A very long usage. So, who's came here to clear the things up? It related the car to the driver that was masked, and it said the things correctly. Now, it is not preferable, but let's say it is not wrong to say, I mean, it is possible to use of which. Alright, so of which here plays the same role of whose. Of course, which is a relative pronoun, but which does not play the role of whose. Do not mix up, do not put which alone. You can only replace whose with of which, not which. So of which has the same meaning. The police are looking for the car of which the driver was masked. Yeah, I need to add here the. And now we have a complete sentence, a complete meaning. It is also possible to use, and that's it. So, long story short, we talked about relative pronouns. We said that relative pronouns relate the person or the thing we are talking about to So long story short, relative pronouns relate things to each other, relate the noun that I want to talk about to a specific. So long story short, relative pronouns relate the noun that I want to talk about in a sentence to a clause or to anything I want in grammar. And I need to know that who, whom, which, whose, and that have different usages, and you're going to see a lot of different sentences with irregular rules and whatever. We just talked about the basic things, and we said that who and whom are used for people, which for things, who's for both, and that for both. But who's and that, of course, are different. Who and whom are different, and which is different from all. So I need to review. Let's review together. As I said, that who and whom come as subject, who come as subject and object, and whom as object. The formal usage is whom, of course, which is for things, and I explained and I also showed how it came as a subject and as an object, and I said that whose shows possessiveness, so whose is for possession and belonging, ownership. Let's not forget the apostrophe s. I also showed you that is for both in case of subject or object, and that it is preferable to which, whom, and who, so it is best to use that but not wrong to use who, whom, and which. I also told you that it is okay if I deleted who, whom, which, or that from a sentence. And let's not forget that there is a difference between interrogative pronouns and relative pronouns. It's that when using relative pronouns, I need to put the noun in the sentence. I need to show the noun that I want to relate the clause to, while in interrogative pronouns I just ask the question, and when answering it I show the noun that replaced the interrogative pronoun. Alright, thanks a lot for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.